My name's Jamie Lee. Welcome back to In the Front Row. Today we are talking Cobra Kai because Cobra Kai never dies. I have my good friends with me, John, Rashad, Don, and Jason. How are we going, fellas?
Fantastic.
Sick socks. Part 1 of Cobra Kai, the finale. How are we feeling about this?
I enjoyed it. This is actually the great way to do it, like a little small, slow burn kind of thing, getting us set up for what we're getting for with the tournament.
I do enjoy the Cobra Kai show. I just think a lot of the things, it's cheesy, but in a good way. Does that make sense? Like to see Danny and Johnny Lawrence and Chozen, yes, all three of them, to see them do those karate moves still is just hysterical. Ha! Yeah, it's just great. I love it. I think the show was set up great from the previous season to what we're seeing now. I think it was really well done, even though I just can't believe Kreese isn't just dead somewhere.
With Kreese, he is just unstoppable. You know, he gets attacked by the snake and he is still kicking. He goes to prison. Essentially, he is a criminal, and yet he can travel to Korea. Yeah, he can travel to Korea.
Yeah, he's the only criminal in the world that can just freely travel around. Like, he just...
Yeah.
He's got like a VIP pass to any country he wants.
Right. I mean, Sensei Kim might have some money, but like, how much sway does he have?
I'm a sensei. I'm a sensei for the Sekai Takai. Like, I'm fine. Don't worry.
I'm bringing my fugitive. He's fine.
Well, you know, Sylvester Stallone and him was in Rambo too, so maybe he has some connections.
True. That is true.
Oh dear, he's just unstoppable. And I think that's because everybody loves him as a villain. Like, he's the OG villain from Karate Kid, and I think he's just been a fan favorite that they really want to keep that going through this franchise as well.
Because if you think about it, without Cobra Kai, there's no Kreese, and that's all he knows is just Cobra Kai. And besides Johnny trying to do it in the first season,
those were his words. He says, "I am Cobra Kai." So that says it all right there. Aside from Kreese, though, I don't know about y'all, but when I first saw Sensei Kim, I said, "Wait a minute, how the fuck is he alive? Like, wasn't that guy like in his 80s back in the 70s? Technically, he should be like 130 right now."
He is drinking from the immortal, eternal life. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he's got that Mortal Kombat juice.
Yes.
Shang Tsung, right? Yeah, exactly.
Right. All I will say is, what's his name has the greatest fighting hands in the world. Like, those hands, if I saw somebody ball those fists up, I'm like, nope, I'm good. The dude that plays Creed, dude, he has the craziest looking hands like in the world. Whenever they show close up of his hands, I'm like, I don't want to ever get hit by those things.
They
like,
just literally just look like fucking gorilla knuckles.
Yeah,
just like,
he looks like that Hulk gloves on, just ready to fucking go nuts.
I gotta say, in part 1, I really loved how mature a lot of the storylines were, and I'll start with Johnny. I feel like I was so emotional in the first episode seeing Johnny mature. It seems like he's sort of grown up through, you know, the 5 seasons that we've had with him, to the point where he wants to fight Chozen over having the dojo rebranded. He feels like he's fallen under Miyagi-Do's practices and way of life, but Miyagi-Do has taken over everything. Like, he's lost Cobra Kai or his values towards karate. And the fact that he was willing to give all that up for the kids. He said, no, I want to do what's best for the kids. That is such a step from the Johnny that we saw in Cobra Kai season 1.
Yeah, definitely. I think that scene where we see
Stingray,
yes, Stingray in the woods training the little kids, and him having that moment with Johnny. Yeah. I think that was a huge moment because you could see the contemplation in his face where he was just like, yeah, this is, you know, who I was, but you know what, like, this isn't the legacy I want to continue. This isn't who I want my son to be proud of. This isn't what I want my future child to be proud of. Like,
And at first I thought that was a little bit creepy, Jace, because I was like, here's Stingray out in the woods with his little kids. Like, what the hell are these parents thinking or doing?
Right?
He's got this boombox of Kreese, like, words coming out. I thought, what the heck is this?
But it's the beginning of a cult. Don't worry.
Right.
It is definitely a cult at that point.
the line that he says is, "Oh, I put your picture on the poster, and all these women parents came." Like, oh, it was but yeah, when you put it like that, Jace, it is very smart because it was a way for Johnny to see that Stingray is carrying these traditions of Cobra Kai onto these kids, and I think that's, again, like super mature. And then we get a little bit later with Mike Barnes. He has that moment with Johnny where he's just like, I really just needed to fight somebody to get that out of my system since karate was reintroduced to me again. So I thought that was another mature thing of him saying, look, I'm sorry, I needed to do this. I thought that was great.
Yeah. Well, the one thing I think they've done a great job with Johnny too is because look, the fish out of water thing is really fun with Johnny, but it could be something that could be very annoying. And I think they still keep it fresh even in this season where it's like, all right, dude, you know what a cell phone is now, but we still, for some reason, believe Johnny doesn't know what anything is. Like, I still, every time somebody says something to him, like, I'm just like, he's not going to know what the hell that is. Like, there's no way.
But I fully believe it.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It's just, I'm just saying it's something that could have got really like bad taste very quick, and they've actually kept it really fresh with the character being a fish out of water. I do like that he's still that person, but like you said, he does have this way more mature side to him.
His dedication to try and make Miguel and
Robbie
sure that they like get along just like really shows how much he's like, listen, I like, because it's kind of like him finally understanding his feud with Russo, where it's like, listen, I get it, I completely understand, but like maybe listen to an old man who's been through it all and grow a little bit more.
Right.
And like you see him also try and do this with the girls, but in a really weird way. Like, trying to
Johnny way. It's a very Johnny way.
He was not doing that with the girls. He was doing the opposite, trying to make them hate each other.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, though, is like it worked for the boys. It was just like get them together and they'll eventually hate each other and fight.
Yeah.
And like for the chicks, it's just like, yeah, let's get them together and fight, and then this will be good.
Yeah.
Right. But I want to piggyback off of something that you said too, Jason, that I didn't think about though too, with Stingray in the woods and stuff like that. I didn't think about the fact that he has a kid coming and everything too. So he's not just thinking about his legacy. He's thinking about his daughter that he's going to bring into this. And does he want to actually subdue her to Cobra Kai? And I like that little subtleness of like, this is who I once was. This is not who I am anymore. I got Eagle Fang. I got a good thing here with Miyagi-Do and stuff like that. I'm going to force these other girls to try and get along and have a slumber party soon, pillow fights, maybe get some anger out there, some aggression, and it's going to be good to go. I don't need Cobra Kai anymore. I've got what I need right here in front of me. I got a family that supports me on what I do, not only Miguel, but also with Daniel, even though they butt heads and everything too, because he's trying to hang on to a legacy of Miyagi. And he's trying to say, hey, look, you can have Miyagi, but you also need to have a counterbalance as well. And like Jamie said, though, too, I also like the bad boy Barnes coming into this. And he has like this PTSD moment of like, it opened up his world again to where he's like, I need to fight somebody now. Who could it be? And who else could it be but the bad boy himself from part 1 fighting bad boy from part 3? I think it's perfect.
My only problem with that fight is the level of like danger they try to throw into it by throwing the saw on. First of all, the saw's 15 feet away from them. Second of all, nobody's dying in this fight. Like, there's no chance either one of them is getting hurt or dying in this fight.
The stakes are so low and they're trying to make it so high.
It's so funny. It's like, that's what you went with, a saw? The thing that's never
going to happen? They just had to keep looking at the saw like, I would have been way more worried if there was like a nail sticking out of a piece of wood or something. I was like, oh, I'm going to get that for sure. But a saw was like, there's no chance.
But it was still satisfying because we got to see Johnny versus Mike Barnes, and I wish we could have seen the full fight between Johnny and Chozen, who would have won, like who's the best of the Karate Kid villains. And but with that fight, at first I was like, wait, there's no way Johnny could beat Mike Barnes because Mike Barnes in the third movie was like Daniel's toughest opponent. Yeah. Daniel couldn't beat Mike Barnes, but he had to, of course, for the end of the for the movie. But Mike Barnes technically should have beat Johnny, but then when I went back and watched it again, I said, well, reason why Johnny won is because now he has Miyagi-Do. If he was just using straight up Cobra Kai, Mike Barnes would have beat him. But if you notice, he was using defense blocking with Miyagi-Do, and that's how he was able to beat Mike. Yeah. At least we got a winner there. But now with Chozen, on the other hand, I think Chozen to fuck up all of them, to be honest.
I do too, yeah.
I do too.
I do too.
Yeah, I feel like I wanted him included a little bit more in this season. I feel like he's a real fan favorite. Everybody sort of loves him, and they've sort of like pushed him under the rug, like, "Oh, go back
like
to
an SNL skit kind of thing."
Yeah, he's just sort of there,
Well,
just hanging out at their house and stuff.
I know they allude to it as far as like he's leaving and stuff, but I didn't like the way it just kind of felt like he was there and then gone almost. It didn't feel
That's
like
what I'm saying. He sort of didn't do anything. They were like, all right, we need you to be there because everyone likes you, but also can you just go away for a second? We can focus on other things. Like I just felt like, oh man, include him.
Well, maybe they're preserving him for the other two parts because I know he's going to play a much bigger role later on.
Exactly, and that's where we have to say in this part here that like all of our opinions and all of our thoughts on this is purely on what we've seen. Like there's still another 2 parts, so we could say something now and then that change in part 2 or something like that. Like we've only seen. I
will also say this season. This is the first season where Johnny's been right from the beginning.
Facts.
Yep.
Yeah.
The way this tournament is explained is the Kumite, which if anybody's seen Bloodsport, the Kumite is no joke for children, basically. Like this is to the death almost, basically. It's as close as you're going to get to the death. And Daniel wants to keep doing this. Like he says it at one point, you can be good at kata, but I know how to teach people to fight. Like Johnny knows how to teach these kids how to fight. And I think that these first couple rounds for them are going to be an eye-opening experience because Johnny, they're going to all be like, oh shit, we should listen to Johnny.
It's going to be Kumite / Best of the Best if you've seen that movie too.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
It's funny because this all started from The Karate Kid, which is my second favorite movie of all time. But now, fast forward, I can't stand Daniel LaRusso. So yeah, I agree with you. Johnny
He's such a bully.
I cannot stand Daniel this season, man. I just want to punch him in his face.
They did take him to a little bit of a kind of
annoying stage.
A little bit, yeah. I would agree. Yeah. He's more of a control freak this season. It feels like too.
Yes,
he held on to that character for a long time and felt control over that character because that's what made him. So it's about letting go of the things that you love in order to actually do the things that you need to do. So
and I feel like we've had that with Johnny. Johnny has adapted little parts of Cobra Kai to make Eagle Fang. Now he's adapting little parts of Miyagi-Do into his own thing. Whereas Danny LaRusso can't let go of that. It was like, he's tied because of Mr. Miyagi. He's tied to that, and he feels like that tradition needs to carry on. But he talks about a balance, and I think that he doesn't have a balance.
I know the writers have talked about this, that one of the big motivations for wanting to do this show, other than obviously being fans and stuff, was that theory that came out a while, now it's been years, where Johnny was actually the good guy and Daniel was the bad guy. They love that theory.
Right.
So I'm wondering if maybe they're kind of playing that out. Like, wait a minute, dude. Looking back at high school, you weren't exactly the hero you think you were.
And Mr. Miyagi.
You got to think they told the story specifically from Johnny's point of view. I'm wondering if maybe that's why that he's kind of evolved into this kind of like, no, maybe you are kind of the asshole from high school that just thinks you kicked somebody's ass one time in a tournament. Now you're the greatest ever. Like, because I mean, he literally sells cars and gives people bonsai trees and has like the freaking crane kick, like as his posters and stuff. Like, it's not like he's portrayed as the good guy either in this show either a lot.
But you got to think though, as a kid, that would do something to you. The fact that Daniel only had 4 months of training, whereas Johnny and the rest of the Cobras had Johnny was a 2-time All Valley champion. So Daniel with 4 months experience and on one leg was able to beat Johnny. I don't know. I guess I would leave you a little arrogant. Like, dude, I beat you with one leg in 4 months.
I did this in 4 months while you did it in 3 years. So
And to do with the Mr. Miyagi box, where we open his box of secrets, the Pandora's box, the way that he reacted to that was sort of a little bit childlike. Like Mr. Miyagi had his own life, his own family, his own secrets. Like, that's his business to be like, oh, he didn't tell me.
Right.
It was a little bit childish.
Ben, why didn't you tell me?
Because he was a maintenance worker. So you think that he was a maintenance worker all this time and just living in your basement the whole time and fixing shit? You think that's all it is to him?
But listen, go back to the first movie. Mr. Miyagi was never a saint. Mr. Miyagi, check it out. He was a thief. Remember, he stole the black belt at the tournament. He lied to the official that he didn't know English just so Allie can go out there on the floor with him.
He whipped like 5 little 16-year-old asses. He whipped all 5 of them. He
whipped 5 minors, right? And then he got drunk in front of a minor and got a minor drunk. Okay?
They did.
Bonsai!
and then he basically work tortured a dude into learning how to fight too, because he like made him stand the floor, paint the fence, and all that. So wax
Child labor
wax
law.
off. Child labor,
Yeah.
child labor, man. He never paid him a penny.
Wow.
For that.
So
either.
Miyagi was no saint. Wait, and on top of that, if you go to the second movie, stole his best friend's girlfriend.
Hold on, it gets better, Rashad. It gets better. He actually made a child break ice with his hands to embed on him.
Yeah, he did. Yes, he
And
did.
then holds his money for college fund.
Yes,
He's not
he
even his
did.
parent.
And might I say, what could have been a quite seedy bar that maybe a child shouldn't have been in at the time. I'm just going to say that. So.
It's the 80s. Anything's
Way to paint our favorite character, Mr. Miyagi, in this.
No, he's
whole
the-
light,
Daniel will be
guys. Thank
flipping
you.
out right now. If you
I
heard
will
us.
say, though,
Yeah.
the one thing I do love about this show is that it has taken 3 movies that I grew up with, but it has added so much lore and so much backstory to these characters. I don't care. You can laugh at me all you want. The lore of now learning that Miyagi was possibly, again, not the greatest person, fought in this crazy thing, and maybe might have actually hurt somebody like really bad and stolen some stuff. Like, we're learning a lot about Miyagi and who he was as a person and why he was so good later in his life.
That box
Later.
of truths, that is going to be all an innocent thing. Like, he
Right.
would have done
Oh, of
that
course.
for, I don't think that we're going to find out, unfortunately, for Dawn, apparently, that Mr. Miyagi is this really, really villainous character. I
He
think
used to
it'll
be an
definitely-
assassin. He's like that dude from the Olympics now. He used to be an assassin. That's what it is.
Our predictions. I tell you.
Right. I like how Amanda's the voice of reason, though, with this, though. And
Oh, I love
actually,
it so much.
it's just like, look, do we actually lie to our kids? Do we protect them? Miyagi was just probably protecting Daniel's like, look, I'm not proud of this life that I
right.
once had. I'm not gonna
It's
talk
none
about
of your
it.
business. He was
Right.
a child, like, he's a kid, for God's sake. Come on.
Right.
Well, even and back in the first, I mean, we were joking about it, but when he's drunk and he's telling Daniel, just that story alone, you're just kind of like, okay, he's definitely been through some things in his
He's
life.
been
He's
through a lot,
lived. Yeah, he's lived a
yeah.
life.
I mean,
so.
also, just like we say, Magneto was right, was Sato right? Because Sato was kind of a villain in the second movie. If you think about it, him and Miyagi were best friends, and Miyagi took his girl, and then announced it to the whole village that he took his girl, and then got scared and fled the country, never looked back.
And this is also another reason why he taught Daniel, because he related to Daniel because Daniel took Johnny's girl.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Fair criticism.
Oh,
Circle.
yeah,
Exactly.
all the dots are connecting.
Right.
Well, but like you
Oh,
said,
funny.
it's an immature thing because come on, man. Like, okay, you
Sorry,
found
yeah.
out that your mentor wasn't the saint that you thought he was. I mean, hell,
Right.
my father, my dad wasn't always Rashad's dad. My dad was in the
Exactly.
Navy. My dad did all kind of shit in the military, man.
Right.
Yeah,
That I don't think no less of him because of it.
that's right.
Daniel knows. That's the thing. Like, you have those moments with Mr. Miyagi. Like, how does this really taint what you had with him, other than you just didn't know everything about it? That's really all you can take away from it, is I just didn't know everything I thought I did about him. But
Right.
it doesn't ruin who the relationship you had with him, I don't think. Or at least I don't
No.
feel that way.
I don't think it should. I think it's just
Right.
him trying to come to terms with, I didn't know this man, and I think it took him a longer time than it should have to come to terms with, like, I didn't know everything about the 70-something-year-old master I had. Like, no shit, you didn't know everything about this man. He fought in wars, and he lived in Okinawa for how long? And you only know what he has told you and what you've seen. Like,
That relates to Kreese. Like, it's the same thing with Johnny. Johnny didn't know everything about Kreese, and that Kreese was that, aggressive man who would really do anything for a win. Things like this, but he adapted things from him and changed it. I feel like Denny is at that point now where he doesn't know everything, but I feel like maybe we should move on from that. Like, yes, you've got Mr. Miyagi's legacy. Yes, you've got Miyagi-Do to live on, but, like, grow up from this whole Johnny versus Denny fight, and Mr. Miyagi is always right way sort of thing.
Yeah, that's I felt Johnny in that scene where Johnny was like, "Look, I'm so sick and tired of hearing that name. Jesus Christ! Like, Miyagi was not God. Like, get over it, man." I was watching with my daughter, and my daughter laughed every time Danny would spaz out, every time Miyagi's name was mentioned, because he was so butthurt about that box of secrets. And I'm like, dude, you're almost 60, man. Grow up.
Yeah. Well, you'd expect this behavior from the kids, but I feel like the kids have more maturity than Daniel sometimes.
That's what
Sometimes, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Because talking about the fight scene with Brooks, you know, when Hawk like knocked his teeth out and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And then Ted come in and like have closure, you know, that he'd be like, it's all right, dude, you know, everything's fine, you know, we did some things, we both did some things. That's maturity, that's moving on. They're not holding these grudges and fighting these kids. And I just think, wow, you guys have so much maturity compared to, you know, the 60-year-old man.
That whole beginning scene where they go to that college and, you know, you see Hawk.
Miguel hears them talking shit about
Tyler. And, you know, it was just like, they were enemies. Like, they weren't on the same team. He was Cobra Kai. They were, you know, even Eagle Fang, Miyagi-Do. And to just see him be like, oh, no, you're not going to talk shit about him.
Yeah.
We're gonna settle this right now.
Up.
It was amazing. It was like honestly a great moment. You see, and like you say, like the kids throughout this entire season, Robbie and Miguel get over their things, and even for the brief period where Sam and Tory, you know, move on, and like it's just there is so much growth and understanding from the children that I think the adults in the series can really take a page from their book.
And it didn't take 30 years to do it.
No.
Right.
This is the first season where I was really interested in the kids' stuff going. And again, I don't mean that in like I wasn't paying attention before or nothing like that. I always thought the kids were great, but being a Karate Kid fan, I love the LaRusso and all that stuff. Yeah, I loved all that stuff more, the Mike Barnes and all that stuff. I just did. But I do think that this season really got me into the kids' story more too, where I'm like, oh, okay, I really like where they're going with the kids and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I do think they've done a lot more with the writing with the kids. The stories are a little bit better and more consistent, at least for me.
Agree.
Yeah.
It comes back to the word that Jace used, which is growth. Like we saw in season 1, Miguel want to be this confident kid because he gets bullied. And he went from that to suddenly being like, okay, I need to think about university. I've got a sister on the way. Like he's so grown up, and we've gone from these childish things to what am I going to do with my future? What am I going to do in the world? Who am I? And I think
we really see it in that fight at the arcade with
Kenny.
Yes, and his brother. Normally, that would have been a fight. Like that would have been a fight. But they were actually all holding back against both of them. They were just kind of pushing them away from them more than they were actually fighting back. Where before, once the first punch was thrown, it would have been
that was it.
It would have been a brawl every other season.
You know what I also think is a great moment of that is when Miguel and Robbie are like, when Miguel is like, this is my last chance. This fight, being captain, this is my last chance to get into the school I want. Whereas Robbie's like, this is my last chance of a future.
Right.
He's like, I don't have much riding for me. And like, even at the resolution of the fight where it turns out Robbie is going to be the captain, you can see there's a little bit of like bitterness, but more so like he's still happy for Robbie. He's still like, all right, I'm going to fall in the line. Yeah, exactly.
You know, Robbie's earned it.
100%.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I don't think there's a bad choice in the top 4.
I have a problem. Okay, so I never thought I would hate a kid more than I hated Sam LaRusso. I couldn't stand Jamie. You know this. I hate Sam LaRusso.
He does. He really, and I don't know why she's the sweetest girl. What? And then as an actor, she's like the nicest person in all interviews that I've seen her in. And Rashad's like, I hate her. I hate her smug face.
Sam LaRusso as a character has a long history of being a
Sam
stuck-up
LaRusso
bitch.
shit.
Yeah,
She definitely has. She definitely does.
Sam LaRusso. I mean, with that I could go on and on about that, so I'm not going to ramble. But just know that Sam LaRusso has been on my shit list. But this time around, surprisingly, Sam ain't the most hated kid. It's Devin Lee.
Devin.
Yeah.
Disappointing,
Why?
Devin.
At first I was team Devin. I was on her side. And then when she made that heel turn, I said, whoa, why did you do that? Mm-hmm. I said, I was rooting for you, man. Why did you do that? So now, Devin's on my shit list.
Yeah, I didn't like that turn with her only because it was really unnecessary. If she would have just stayed focused, every time she messed up, she threw herself out of it because she would spend the next 2-3 minutes just every exercise. Yeah, instead of just going right back to work, where I think everybody else at least showed that, like, okay, I fucked up, whatever, move on. Like, and she just kept focusing on it. I don't think that Johnny thing would have even had to happen if she would have just stayed in the moment and did it. Because, Devin proved last season she can fight. That girl can definitely fight.
She's a competitor. Yeah, she's a competitor. Sure. But to do that, I was like, wow. And then to know that Kenny's going to blame Anthony
Yeah.
And even when Anthony confesses, like, look, I didn't do it, he's not going to believe him because of their history.
Well, I think that they're setting that up so that we can have that Anthony-Kenny fight because we need that. You know, they're having these little nigs at each other, and it's really annoying.
They can have closure.
See them go at it.
Do you think he's going to be on Cobra Kai?
No.
Kenny, do you think somehow he makes it over there? And
I think because notice they only had three people from the Cobra Kai team, and then Tory showed up, so that's 4, and it's supposed to be 6. So I think Kenny's going to be the wild card.
That's what I'm saying. There's 2 more.
Yeah.
There's 2 more spots that need to be filled on their side, and we don't.
And
know
I think they showed us Tory at the end.
That. You're right.
And they did. They focused in on just Tory. Are we going to see Kenny or somebody else that we really don't expect to see on the Korean?
It's got to be Kenny.
Team?
Yeah.
I imagine it'll be Kenny, but I also think they're going to try and surprise us with someone else, like maybe a cut from whoever someone season 1. I think we're really going to get.
It's Stingray for sure. Stingray's going to show
up with his other little Cub Scouts that he has.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm thinking the reason why it's probably got to be Kenny, because you think about it, he has no place on Miyagi-Do because he's never really trained with Daniel. Yeah. And of course, Daniel is the father of his enemy. He's never trained with Johnny, really. All he's ever known was Cobra Kai. Yeah. And Kreese and Terry Silver, you know what I'm saying? So that's kind of where he fits in.
I think Kreese is also going to manipulate him to where he's going to break himself again to be that angry.
Mm-hmm.
He's going to set something up.
I think we're going to see something like that with Kwon, and he's the new Korean. He's Johnny Lawrence
2.0.
Kwon's a problem.
3.0, really.
Yeah,
because,
Kwon's a problem.
Yeah. He's bad. I really like the new inclusion of, the Korean side and seeing not backstory, but we see a lot to do with our kids, like the Miyagi-Do kids and their fights that they've had between each other. But to see it go on with the Cobra Kai, the Korean Cobra Kai kids, you get a little bit of insight into their hierarchy. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But you also see it always leads back to Kreese. With these, most of these, inner spats that have started between these kids have started because Kreese is at the center of it, pulling strings.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
As much as even Silver, you know what I mean? But Kreese has been the ever puppeteer of these kids having these rivalries amongst each other.
Do you think that Kreese had anything to do with the death of Tory's mum? I know it was a brain aneurysm, but
100%.
Of course.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, 100%.
That. I thought at first, oh my gosh, Kreese probably did something.
Why do we think that? Can I ask why?
Yes, because she turned him down, she dies, and then she has that moment where she fights and they don't let her fight. And he said to her, there's going to be a moment where they don't let you be you or whatever.
And not only that, but even when the mother winds up having the fist,
she has the fist. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
I thought that was a big clue too, because yes, it was to do with the coin that, with the backstories of Tory in her past, we got that coin, but she could have been holding it like that. She didn't need to have her fist in the.
Yes. It's just like you just said though, Jason, he has been the one behind the scenes, the puppet master. The way they show those scenes, or at least the way it plays out.
It's very deliberate, isn't it?
It seems very deliberate that he said he did that for sure.
Right.
Because
the only reason why I held back
to the doctor, she's like, wait a minute, she had a blood clot and you guys didn't catch that, and we've been doing so good. They set all those little things up that it definitely feels like he killed her. Yeah,
I think it is.
Yeah. The only reason why I thought no way is because I thought this show has been so tame in regards to the stakes of things and how dangerous it is. We talked about the Saw. The only real danger that this show has ever sort of put anyone in is with Miguel. And that was a massive risk, putting a kid paralyzed. I really thought, would they really say that Kreese has killed somebody?
Yeah. In the beginning, when he first gets to Korea and the kids are doing that thing against the wood, that's the mock. That's the death touch.
Yeah.
And I can't, I guess I'm just crazy because I don't think Kreese, Kreese is an evil person, but I don't think he's going to kill. I just don't feel like he would kill his star pupil's mother.
No, I think he would.
What he's really saying is he would actually sign up for Cobra Kai to be in the tournament.
Because also, Also, does Tory actually go anywhere with her mom being sick? I mean, I know she would go with Daniel and them because there would be a support system. But would Kreese really take care of her mother? The only way that he can get her on his side, get her on his side, is to take out the mom, in my opinion.
Get out of
She has to go full dark side.
Yeah,
she's got a brother, and yet she's like, "Oh, I'm just gonna." My mom's just died. I'm just gonna take off and leave my brother and go and fight for Korea. Like, what?
No, well, I'm well up there. There's some stuff there in between that happened. Where I'm pretty sure there was a conversation before they got on a canoe and canoed all the way to Korea.
Yeah, exactly.
You know? I think also part one really is establishing that Kreese is really like not. Wait, we all know he's evil. But now we're seeing that he's going to be more evil than we've ever seen him because
he doesn't have any love for Johnny anymore now.
The whole Empire Strikes Back scene in the cave showed that Johnny was his only weakness, and he rid himself of that weakness. So now we're going to see the most evil Kreese that we've ever seen.
This is what Kreese wants. He wants division, but not only does he want division, but remember all those things that he was doing in the tournaments and stuff like that, being sneaky and stuff like that, and conniving?
Right.
With this one, there's no rules. There's no regulations.
Yeah.
He can fuck people up if he wants to fuck people up if he wants to. Blood for blood, pound for pound.
Yes.
And this is what makes Kreese even more dangerous, in my opinion.
I just don't see how that's going to go, though.
Yep.
Yeah, he's playing Tory, but like Miyagi-Do, they're all tame in comparison to the level of Kreese.
It's going to come down.
I can't see anybody like coming out willing to kill.
It's going to come down to Devin and Robbie. Devin and Robbie are going to have to save everything. Miguel has a lot of heart.
Do we think that Devin's going to stay in there, or will her conscience get the better of her, where she says, "I cheated, I outed"?
Miguel has a lot of heart, but he will never. He doesn't have that eye of the tiger like Robbie has, and Sam definitely doesn't have the eye of the tiger. She just wants to go in and wants to have a little fight, like at the. She wants to have a slumber party. That's her idea of karate. Is I kicked you in the chest. Now that's 1 point for me. That's her idea of karate.
Yeah, well, you know what? Because technically Sam is a better fighter than Tory just because she's been doing it longer since she was a little girl. But like you said, she ain't got that killer in her. She ain't got that Mamba mentality. You know what I'm saying? Tory's got that Kobe Bryant Mamba mentality of I'm going to take your head off. And
so does Robbie, because Robbie's had to fight his whole life. So Robbie has that for sure. Hulk has a little bit of it, but he doesn't have that. He doesn't, to me, have that killer instinct either.
He broke his best friend's arm. I think he's got some kill in him.
No, I know he does. But what I mean is, when it comes to shove, I don't know if he's willing to go the extra mile like Robbie.
I think again, Hawk got beat by a little kid version of Kenny. So Kenny now being the big man child that he is, Kenny will probably destroy Hawk now.
Kenny's got the eye.
But I also think you see a huge moment with Kenny and his brother, where even his brother's like, "This isn't you." Yeah. Like you can continue to try and be like, this is who I am now, but I know the real you, Kenny. And it's just like, you can see even Kenny, who's trying to pretend to his brother, like you can tell even him in his eyes and like the way he's portraying it, like he doesn't truly think that this is who he is.
Yeah. When your response to fear is not run, but it's fight, you got the heart, and that's what Kenny does. He's not the run type. He's definitely the I'll stand and still fight you, even if I'm scared. I'm going to fight.
Right.
That's the difference, I think, with Kenny. That I mean,
because he's been bullied all his life by LaRusso. Right. He's been running his whole life, and now he's at a standstill where he's like, you know what? I'm tired of running because running has not got me anywhere. So I'm going to go ahead and stand up for what I have to stand up for.
My thing with Tory is exactly what Rashad said. Is he's releasing the dark side in her, because he even so in that cave he basically says, "Johnny, you're my only weakness." And when he's talking to Tory in that parking garage, he says, "You are my weakness. You are the one I really cared about." We know he's lying immediately. So he knows what he's doing now. He's manipulating her. He's twisting her mind, and he is going to unleash the bulldog on everybody. Her and Quan.
Yeah.
Those two are going to be a force in this. I can't wait to watch these fights.
I call him Chozen's going to be the difference in the Sekai Takai. Because like you said, Miyagi-Do doesn't have that aggression that Cobra Kai has. So they're not going to be able to, like, remember in the All Valley, Johnny and Daniel both couldn't take out Cobra Kai. You know what I'm saying? So Chozen is the one that introduced Daniel to the dark side of Miyagi-Do. Like, wait a minute, Miyagi never taught me this. He never taught me the whole paralyzing technique. And Chozen even told him, like, look, sometimes in Miyagi-Do you have to kill. So it's going to be that part of Miyagi-Do that's going to, decide the winner of the Sekai Takai. And like you said, Robbie has that Mamba mentality. he's gonna be the one to come out on top.
Which this goes back around to what Jamie was saying about the whole balance thing, where it's like this will be the true balance in Miyagi-Do, where it's like, yes, you need to have a solid defense, but you can't win this stuff without just a solid offense. Like you need to be willing to make those killing blows in these like finishing moments. And I think him finding the chest as well as the headband for the captain of the Sekai Takai, like this will all be moments for Danny to like come to finally terms with like, this is the balance you need in your life. This is why Miyagi was such a great teacher and leader, is because he did have the balance that he needed.
Yeah, very well said. So I also really appreciate that in this first part, at least, we get a little bit of returning characters. You know, we get Yasmin come back, which is Dimitri's girl. She gets some sort of like goodbye closure in this series. There was the guy from the pawn shop. I can't remember his name, but they had a little scene with him. Then obviously we get Brooks come back, you know, after his teeth have been knocked out and stuff like that. We get Kyla. I feel like the show's sort of really coming full circle and wrapping things up. I feel like we're going to get the committee from the All Valley and a few other people that have popped up throughout this series in the finale or in celebration if they win the Sekai Takai. And I really like that. You know, I like the callbacks. I like that the big three really care about the fans and give us this fan service that we want. You know, I really think they care about this show just as much as the fans do. And I enjoy seeing that come off on screen.
Yeah, well, they've said in a bunch of interviews that they had a story they wanted to tell. They already had the ending right, or at least what they, you know, their idea of what the ending was. So if this is it, I'm all for it, because this is going to be the fight of all fights. This is going to be the tournament of all tournaments. Yes. I just hope we don't get that moment where the literal last like combo to win is like the crane kick. Then the crane kick, like, I hope it's not like a move for move. Like I hope we don't get the second one with Chozen with the freaking doop 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 where they just start doing it. Like I'm hoping that's not like the final. Other than that, though, as long as the fights are good, man, I think this is shaping up to be a crazy second and third half of this season. I really do.
Well, one name that we haven't mentioned at all is Terry Silver. Have we seen the last of him?
How could you bring him back? How could you possibly? What could you do? You know, I think it was a good closure. We got that awesome like fight with him and Chozen. Like I don't think he could.
Well, I mean, him and John Kreese never. You know, we have to get one more scene with them because last time we saw them together, Kreese put him in jail, and Kreese never got his payback on him. I think we're owed one more scene. Maybe he sees him in jail. No, he can't see him in jail because he'll be in jail himself.
Waltz into prison where he's
and
I did want to mention too, Rashad, on the flip side of things, on the good side, not so much the villainous, do we think that we're going to see her in part 2 and part 3?
I'm going to say no, because she was already confirmed that she's not going to do it. Hilary Swank.
Oh, really?
Did she?
Yeah, she said that she wasn't going to do it or anything.
Oh, wow. That's actually a surprise.
Wow, that would have been a full circle moment, though. Yeah. Dan discovered that Miyagi had another student.
Yeah.
Another thing that he'll get pissed off about.
You mean I didn't know there was someone else?
That was Julie.
Yeah, and wait a minute. That's actually a good question, because apparently Daniel and Miyagi like kept in touch till he died.
Right.
How did he never know about that? How would he have never known about that?
He'd have been butthurt.
For sure.
Dan, why didn't you tell me?
Ego too big. I know tell.
Yeah.
Are there any other thoughts that we wanted to put in, or any predictions that you think might happen for the future of Cobra Kai?
Predictions, I think this is going to be some of the most intense fights we've ever seen. And I just think that it's going to be insane amounts of manipulation going on. To be honest, both ends. I don't think it's just as much as Kreese is a manipulator. I think Danny has a way of manipulating his students just as much, trying to think that his way is the only way. And I think, it's going to take balance to bring this home.
Oh, no. Once Sam walks into the ring, gets her ass whooped, I think Danny's going to be like, oh, shit.
Yeah.
That's what's going to happen.
Sam just gets her arm broken or something right away.
No, I think she's the first one that gets her, really gets beat. Really gets a bad beating. Yeah.
All this hate for poor Sam. John, what's your prediction?
It's not hate. I just think she's the weakest link on the team. I just think she's the weakest link.
I'm always the one who wants blood and wants characters to die. It just seems like,
oh my God,
that way.
Nobody's gonna die.
They are not giving us a death.
Come on, you have a kid that's
Kreese may die. Kreese may die.
Yeah, I'm telling you, I think that someone's going to end up dying this season.
No, you specifically think one of the kids is going to die.
Yes, I do. I think one of the yes,
No,
I think one of the
definitely
kids is going to die in this season.
Nah.
That's so fucked.
I will eat my words if in part 2 and 3 one of the kids die.
If anybody dies, it's gonna be Kreese. You know, Kreese is gonna die for the
Kreese needs to die though. I'm going to say that. Well, remember, Kreese said that he's going to go after Johnny's heart or maybe LaRusso's heart. So I'm thinking
Sam dies.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Or somebody might get very hurt. Somebody's going to get hurt badly. Somebody's going to die.
To be honest, I think Sam will probably be the one to get hurt.
But
what I think is Sam will be the one to get deliberately hurt, something severe, or one of the dudes is going to get broken, and then we'll see someone come and be like a substitute.
Every time Sam gets hit, she is so surprised that she gets hit. Yeah, she's like, oh my God, like it's so. She's about to get hit.
Oh, yeah.
Let me tell you something. Sam is so much of a pussy. Sam's the only person I've ever seen to win a fight and then be scared of the person that she beat.
Yeah. You're not wrong.
I've never seen that before.
You are not wrong. You are not wrong.
Gosh.
You know how the hell you whoop somebody, then you get PTSD about the next day.
Like Dimitri will fight now. Like he's still a little, but he at least will fight now.
Yeah, I am excited to. Honestly, I think Dimitri's going to be the one to surprise us the most.
Yeah.
And I think they specifically set it up that way.
Yep.
I think Dimitri is going to end up potentially winning the entire thing for them, because I know it's going to come down to Robbie being the head champion or the lead person for the dudes, and Sam is the lead person for the women. But I truly think that Dimitri is going to be one of the biggest key factors of them winning.
He's going to be the surprise, the Cinderella story.
Yeah.
I can see that. I can see that.
I'm going to predict that I think they lose the tournament itself, but I think you might be right. Dimitri is going to be the one to do it.
The only reason why I don't think
they'll lose
the only reason why I don't think they'll lose the tournament is that'll be 2 things in a row that has disappointed fans, where they have lost, like they lost the All Valley last time. They're not going to do, oh, yes, now your first time in the Sekai Takai, you get beat.
Yeah.
I highly doubt they're going to do that. If both of them don't win, one of them is going to win.
If you've seen best of the best, okay, unless Cobra Kai wins, but it's very competitive, but Cobra Kai wins, but because they have so much respect for them at the end, they take their medals off and they give it to Miyagi-To. And so it makes it look like they won instead.
Yeah, no, I don't think we're going to see that from that.
Yeah, that's Chris coming out to apologize. Sorry, Tory, I didn't mean to kill your mother.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we just have a rainbow shooting out of someone's ass, and everyone lives happily ever after.
Right.
How is he at this tournament? Like, how is he just walking around this? I mean, I know this tournament isn't like the biggest thing in the world, but
fugitive.
That's what I mean. Like, how is he just walking around? Nobody's like, hey, that's that guy.
I guess because he's out of the country, you know, that's on U.S. soil. So I guess as long as he's anywhere else, he's okay.
I think for sure they're going to try to turn him in, right? I mean, Daniel's going to really go.
I was going to say, if you don't think LaRusso is calling like every single person he can, just like, I've got him right here.
Yeah. I think that's meant to be swept under the rug, all of that, you know, like how Tory got there and why Kreese is still allowed to be out in public. I think all of that will be swept under the rug. But I do think that something will come to light with Kreese and Tory's mum, that there was not necessarily that he killed her, but he had some sort of, he was there for her final sort of moments, I think. And I think that will come to life and Tory will flip the script. I think she will be accepted back into Miyagi, whether it's in the tournament or not. I think that she'll have that soft moment where she goes, what am I doing? You know, this is not what am I fighting for? Because really, what is she fighting for? She's fighting because her mum said, you know, you need to do it for yourself, but she's not doing it for herself. She's doing it for Korea. She's doing it with a team that she doesn't even know this team. And she's willing to fight in near-death experiences is what they're dramatizing this as. Yeah, it just seemed a little bit, whoa, really?
One of the biggest things that's also going to change her mind is like, we know she still loves Robbie. Like, we know that has not changed. And I think there's going to be a moment where, because Kreese does not have any love for the enemy, it doesn't matter who it is. So I think there's going to be moments where she's going to be happy for Robbie winning or excited or something like that. And Kreese is going to try and snub it out as quick as possible. And she's not going to like that. Because out of everyone in the show, Robbie has been there for her through everything.
Right.
But that's the part where I'm really confused about Jace, because she comes out on that stage with Sam and they're fighting, and Amanda's like, "Stop! We need to stop the fight. You know, her mum just died." And Robbie, like, he's like, "Oh, I didn't know," or something like that, or "I'm sorry." And he tries, you know, he was trying to call her. But after that, like, what interaction went on with them? Because obviously not a lot, because she rocks up with Kreese and he's like,
We've seen it already prior to that. She was ignoring all his calls. She
But
wasn't
why?
answering
That's
him.
your boyfriend. Why would you then run to Kreese?
Because of the
But,
emotional
also,
damage.
That's just a character to me. Yeah, that's just how
That's
she
how-
is.
Robbie is now in a happy family.
Yeah.
Robbie is now has,
that's true.
you know, his father who is finally loving him and trying to be right towards him. He now technically has a brother and a stepmother, as well as, you know, a new baby coming into the family. Like, Robbie's got a lot of positive family right now. And I would imagine, as someone who just lost every bit of family pretty much they felt they had, they don't want to probably do that to someone.
That's a good way of seeing it. Yeah, that's a good way.
Yeah,
yo, and shout out to her acting too, man. Peyton List is like the MVP.
She's really good. Yeah, she's
part
really
one.
good.
I'm like, dude, where did that come from? Like, I didn't know she had acting chops like that, man. So quick question. Would y'all have let that fight go?
Yes.
Like Johnny would, or would you have been like Dan would be like, nah, we have to end this?
I'd let him fight.
Yes,
Absolutely.
because also Sam would have understood, and Sam would have been like, okay.
No, I'm sorry, guys.
I don't think Sam would have understood, but she needed to fight. So I think she should have fought Devin, because Devin would have actually fought her.
No, I think Sam, and it's going to be the fight that we end up seeing anyway, because Sam is going to fight
Tory. That we saw with Robbie and Miguel. They had to have that.
I think that this is going to be the fight that they 100% need to have. Sam is going to be the only one who will lose to her gracefully if it's the case. And where Tory will completely, like, at the end of it, be like respectful of the loss. Does that make sense?
In the Sekai Takai, maybe, but not in that moment where she had just found out. No, she's too.
No, there's like a lot of anger there.
No, Sam's too good of a person. She wouldn't have fought her in that moment. No
way.
That's very divisive, you know, because I heard people say both, like, yeah, I would have let him fight, or I would have let him fight. I don't know, man, because in that moment, it's like, damn, this girl needs a hug, because you can see it all on her face. She was hurting.
She needs a mum. She needs.
But that's the thing, though.
Step in and give her a hug, not a
she's
fight.
not. There was no way she was going to allow a hug or anything in that moment. But I do wish they would have given at least a little bit of a thing where they were just like, oh, all of us have tried to call her. We went to her apartment. She's not there. Like some kind of like scene right before they were getting on the plane to be like, has anyone heard from Tory? And it's just like, I've been trying, because it literally does look like they had that fight. And then it was just like, all right, guys, focus on the Sekai Takai. No worries about anything else.
Yeah, especially Amanda. Like, Amanda is the primary contact. The hospital called her to say that her mum had died. Like, did she not reach out and go, oh, wait, she hasn't come back to Miyagi? Where is Tory? Who's looking after her now that her mother's dead? Like, Amanda's a smart woman. She has some clarity. So surely there'd be some, like, hopefully we get to see something to cover that up a little bit, not just sweep it under the rug.
I think they were just all scared because they know when Tori's mad, she could be a mean bitch. So they could probably call her from a distance. Hey, Tori, you okay? But don't go near her. Don't put your hand on her because you will be missing teeth. All right.
I think if Robbie or Amanda goes to her, totally different story. Even Sam, honestly, if she goes to her, especially after they had Sam going to her in that moment and like, listen, I know I can't say I know exactly how you're feeling, but like, I'm here for you.
Just a friend moment.
Because then also if that happens, I can see them having a fight, just them two.
Yes.
No one around. And just really having a fight. And then that's where she breaks down and like cries.
Dude, that would have been freaking
like, I think
cool.
that's a good fucking scene that they really missed out on. Their whole like story, this whole couple of episodes, was them, people trying to get them to fight and work against each other. And they're like, no, we're good. And like Sam going to her in these moments and like, all right, you wanted to fight to get this out? Let's go.
We might still get that moment. We might still get that moment before the Sekai Takai or whatever.
I think that would be like honestly a beautiful moment between those two actresses.
I really like that idea.
I truly think that fight 100% needed to happen for her. And like, if that fight happens, she never leaves anywhere, and she stays with them and truly feels welcomed into the family.
I think
Sam wins that fight if she fights in anger.
100%, because Sam's in the right
headspace.
headspace.
She's angry and aggressive, and anyone who's not got any, she's not taking into consideration rules, law, any of the other words that you want to use, balance, respect. She'd had none of that, because in that moment you are blindsided by loss and grief. You are hurt, and she wants to hurt somebody else. That's why she wanted to fight. You want to get that aggression out. And I think it's wrong to take it out on somebody who's standing there willing to do a competition that does have rules and that is trying to be respectful to, karate, miyagi, whatever it is. That is not the right place for that fight, in my opinion.
Agree to disagree.
Some people need to just fight, though. There are people that's
but not in that point in time.
Like, she was gonna fuck Sam up.
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know. It's like with Kreese in the first one against Miyagi. He's fighting with anger, and Miyagi just uses him against himself, where I think Sam would have done the same thing. Sam would have done the same thing and used her anger against herself, and then she, like Jason said, she would have broke down, started crying, and then that's when you step in with the hug. I do agree with that, but she needed to fight.
I get both sides, but I mean, as a girl dad, though, I'm like, damn, like my heart broke for her.
For sure.
Like, nah, girl.
100%.
Oh no, I would never let my daughter do it. I'm just saying I do get where she's coming from. That's all I'm saying.
I wanted to fight, but
I get it. No, as a parent, no, I would never. No, of course. No.
But if it's somebody else's kid, you don't mind. It's like
really fine.
No, I don't even mean it that way. I just mean I get where she's coming from. That's all.
Right. I got you. I think she would have died if Sam went on ahead and fought her, though, to be honest with you, or because of just the severity of how
you just wanted death, John. You just wanted death.
You want somebody to go so bad.
I'm pretty much game of throwing Cobra Kai right now.
I wouldn't have let her fought Sam there, but I would have put somebody against her that, like, even Robbie.
Who else is willing to sacrifice themselves?
Damn, not Robbie.
Look, she's not winning that fight. She's too angry. She's gonna wear herself out too fast.
Like I said, she just needed to fight. Like like I said, Johnny said it best. He's like,
it's not about winning a fight. It's about she just needs to punch somebody. Like she just
being on that mat was like, she wasn't clarity, but it was the only moments that he had to really be like, this is me. This is for me.
I think it would have worked actually if Robbie would have stepped up on the stage, grabbed her, she turned around, swung. We got a little bit of an aggression fight out of her to get the aggression out on him, and then he hugs her.
Yes.
But we need to set up that she's Darth Vader Jr. So,
first of all, Robbie knows better than to grab her because historically, whenever Tory's fighting and you try to grab her, she's gonna hit your ass. Ask Miguel.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, ask Miguel. Ask Robbie because she swung on Robbie too a couple times. So,
I think Tory's easily a top 3 fighter. Easily a top 3 fighter out of all of them, for sure.
Just don't grab her when she's mad because she will swing on your ass.
Big facts.
Do we think that Miyagi-Do is going to win the tournament? John, yes or no?
I think they will. It's just going to be a very beaten up. I think everybody's just going to have broken bones. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think Miyagi's going to come out on top.
It's inevitable. They have to win that. That's the only way to wrap the story up. Miyagi-Do wins.
Yeah, if they end the series on a loss for Miyagi-Do, I don't care what show comes out after this.
I'm never watching it again. Cobra Kai does die. What about you, Don?
I'm going to stick with my bold prediction. I don't think they win. They win.
But then again, the show is called Cobra Kai, so I mean, how ironic that is. The show's called Cobra Kai and Miyagi-Do wins. So,
but it would be the end of the show and the end of Cobra Kai, so it would be poetic.
Sure. Oh, it would. Absolutely.
All right. Well, that's our thoughts on part 1 of Cobra Kai. It comes back in November, and we cannot wait to see what happens with part 2 and then how we wrap everything up in a pretty neat little bow for part 3. We will definitely do an after panel show like this, so make sure you stick around, and we'll see you in the next video. Take care. Bye.
Yeah.